Hey, what's going on, everybody? F for Film here again, and today I'm going to count down my 10 favorite movies from 2022. These are obviously just my subjective opinions. There's actually a few movies that I still have to see from 2022 that I really want to, but I figured if we're already in 2023, it's time to make the list. Before we get this list started, I just figured I should give out just a quick few honorable mentions that were really, really good this year and I greatly enjoyed, but for one reason or another, they just didn't make my top 10. The Whale with Brendan Fraser. This is his best performance ever, and without a doubt, he will get Best Actor of the Year. He is phenomenal in this, as well as the entire cast. Barbarian is such a fun ride and a thrill to watch, especially if you watch it with someone who hasn't seen it before. Go into this completely blind and have no idea what you're about to watch, and it will be the best time you'll ever have. Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. As a huge anime fan, especially a Jujutsu Kaisen fan, this was everything I wanted, and I think they animated the volume beautifully. I took my brother to go see this, and even he loved it, and he has never seen or even really heard of Jujutsu Kaisen, so that was really cool too. The Menu is another one. I saw this a couple times in theaters. I really, really enjoyed The Menu. It is some great dark comedy, some really fun performances, and it had me laughing quite a bit during this movie. Another one of my favorite movies of the year, probably if I did top 11, this would be my number 11, is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. I found this movie really, really enjoyable, more existential than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a quirky little comedy, and it is that, but it's also, it really tackles life and what do you do when you feel like you've lost everything, but prevailing through that, and I found it to be really, really powerful. I showed my family it when I came up for Christmas, and yeah, I thought Marcel the Shell with Shoes On was an amazing film. And also, The Banshees of Inisherin. Martin McDonagh is one of my favorite directors of all time, even if the only movie he ever made was In Bruges. That movie is perfect. I just wrote a 5-page paper on that for a class. And this movie has two really, really strong performances at the heart of it. I would not be surprised at all if either of them or both of them got nominated for Oscars. They are two of the best actors working today. And yeah, overall, this movie is incredible. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, Triangle of Sadness, from the director Ruben Ostlund. I hope I'm saying his name right. He has a little dot dot over his O on Ostlund, and I don't know what that means. Triangle of Sadness is a very, very dark comedy that I found myself almost like cry laughing during this movie. This movie was everything I wanted it to be. Even though it was pretty long, it really didn't feel that way just because I got so engrossed in what was going to happen to all of these just objectively awful people. And when you finally get to about the turning point, we'll say, in the movie, and you really see what the plot is going to bring you, it is insanely enjoyable. And I loved every second of this movie. It is a big, big recommendation for me. Ruben Ostlund, he really uses long, drawn out dialogue to amplify how good his comedy is in a way that I really don't see a lot of directors doing, which is really cool. My number 9 pick is one that if you had told me this would be my ninth favorite movie of the year at the beginning of the year, I would have laughed you out of the room. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, from the director Joel Crawford. This movie was, wow. This was incredible. I saw this with my family at a really really bad screening that actually got interrupted twice, once from a fire alarm and once from the projectionist just pausing the movie for some reason. But the second time I went to go see this movie was a much better experience because it just played straight through. And both times I found myself laughing a lot. I really, really enjoyed the story they take Puss in Boots on. It's like a takedown of his character, which is really interesting. Really interesting choice, especially for like an animated movie. And I don't know, it was gorgeous to look at, really cool soundtrack. All the jokes still landed for me the second time, which I was not expecting. And also some really cool villains. Goldilocks villain, played by Florence Pugh. She was okay. She was probably my least favorite out of the cast, but the other two villains were the wolf, who you see in the trailer, who every time he was on screen, he had such a unique presence that you don't really get a lot of animated villains having such a dark, sinister aura to them. And I thought that was really cool. Every time that he would attack, or even just the way he spoke, was really cool. And also, there's another villain in this movie who I don't want to spoil because personally, I had no idea this comedic actor was playing him, but he is one of the most sadistic and yet hilarious villains I've seen in a while. So, big recommendation for me: go out and see Puss in Boots. It definitely deserves the love. My number 8 pick is one that was on my list at the start, at the halfway point of the year, and that is still Brian and Charles. Another really, really good comedy. I've got 3 really funny movies in a row on my bottom 10. This is just a really funny comedy. I didn't really see a lot of people talking about it. It's a low concept sci fi about a guy who builds a robot, and that's his friend. And that's really it. That's the movie. That's the movie. And Charles, one of the funniest written characters in modern time, honestly. I think the way they do Charles' like robotic voice and a lot of his dialogue is just perfect. And yeah, if you can find this, please go watch it because it definitely did not get enough praise when this was still going on in theaters. My number 7 pick is The Northman. I mean, what else is there to say? Robert Eggers is a master of his craft. This movie not only had some really cool action scenes, but I think my favorite part about the movie is how they tell the story. It is told in a way that you can never really tell what is happening. You don't know a lot of, like, is this really how this happened? Is there actual magic? Is this Valhalla real? They never really give away to it. It could all just be psychedelics, such like it definitely looks like Willem Dafoe is doing. But yeah, this movie is really, really cool. High recommendation. Might be my least favorite Robert Eggers movie, but at the same time, this is his first time outside of A24. He didn't have as much control over the film as he would have liked. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what he does next. He's doing Nosferatu next, so I can't wait to see how that goes. My number 6 pick is another movie that I would not have believed you if you were going to tell me at the beginning of the year that this would be one of my favorites of the entire year. Top Gun Maverick. I don't like Top Gun. I don't think it's that good a movie. I'm going to be honest. But this sequel was everything I could have ever wanted. It is still my pick for best cinematography of the year. Tom Cruise proves he is 100% full blown movie star. The fact that they were flying these actual ships and they did all of this gorgeous cinematography that has never been done. This movie was a thrill in theaters. I had more fun watching this in theaters, I think, than anything else on this list. Purely out of just excitement and just the sheer adrenaline rush that this movie brings you on. After I saw it in theaters, unfortunately, I only got to see it once in theaters, but I bought the Steelbook instantly and I've now seen it 3 times. Everyone should watch Top Gun Maverick, even if you don't like the sequel or the first one, because I don't like the first one. So, then that is a recommendation from me. Everyone, please go see Top Gun Maverick. It is easily the best legacy sequel out there. Moving on to number 5, Jordan Peele's third film, Nope. Nope. It has 2 scenes that I genuinely found terrifying, and I don't really find a lot of things scary. I love horror movies, but I rarely find them actually scary. Nope had 2 scenes in particular that terrified me. If you've seen the movie, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. This movie was shot beautifully. The fact that most of the scenes at nighttime were shot during the day, it that is stunning to me. I have no idea how he managed to do that well. Kiki Palmer is incredible in the film. Has one of the coolest creatures I've ever seen in a movie. And altogether, yeah, Nope, I think was fantastic. I know a lot of people are saying that they don't like it as much as other movies. This is right up there with Get Out for me, and it's definitely above Us for me. But yeah, big recommendation. Please go see Nope. It's amazing. Number 4, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And no, not the Disney remake that came out in 2022. or the Pauly Shore Pinocchio that also came out in 2022. My God, what is it with this little wooden boy?
Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
Uh, Guillermo del Toro has always been one of my favorite directors. I love every single thing that this man has ever made. I think I own all of his movies. He is such an auteur of cinema. The way that he manages to make such interesting creature designs on top of this fascinating worlds that he allows you to travel to, mostly using practical effects. And then at the same time, he doesn't just do horror films and then make really cool creature designs, because he easily could. But instead, he takes it a step farther and he makes these amazing creatures while also making them like a love story, such as The Shape of Water, or a girl like discovering or a girl discovering an entire other version of the world, such as in Pan's Labyrinth. Pinocchio is the best stop motion movie I've ever seen. I really like stop motion, but the way they use it in this film, it doesn't feel like stop motion. It just feels like they're filming this wooden boy and his family going on this big adventure. To set this in fascist Italy is a really interesting choice, and one that I think pays off immensely. I think the lead actor in this, the kid who plays Pinocchio, Gregory Mann, he is definitely a kid to watch out for. He was really, really good. It doesn't feel like a performance, it just feels like he is this character. And for a kid to do that with a just voice acting is really, really impressive. I also think there's a few songs in this movie that don't really feel like it's not a musical per se, but it just happens to be a movie that has music in it. And one of the songs in this, Ciao Papa, is really, really like gorgeous. I don't know. The whole cinematography for that scene and the lyrics, it really got me. Such a great movie. Highly recommend this one. My number third pick is one that I don't know if everyone's going to agree with, but who cares? It is The Fablemans. This movie rocked me to my core. I teared up more in this movie than I had any other movie this year. It is beautiful personal storytelling from a cinematic icon such as Spielberg. It has some of his best crafted scenes that he has ever made. And I've seen most of his movies. This movie is probably top 5 of all time of Spielberg's movies for me. I think Gabriel LaBelle is one of the best actors of the year. I would be amazing if he got nominated. He probably won't. I mean, even if he does get nominated, let's just face it, The Whale is going to win. But even then, I think The Fabelmans is an amazing movie, especially if you've ever wanted to go into filmmaking. This movie really, really got me, and especially when I'm about to graduate college and really enter the world of movie making, I don't know. This movie had everything that I wanted. My number two pick is something entirely different, and that is RRR from the director S.S. Rajamouli. I am sorry if I butchered that name, I'm sure I did, but this is also the very first Indian film that I've ever seen. But I definitely plan to watch more. I have started a list of a few that have been recommended to me. This movie was the most fun movie ever. It is a amazing musical. It is one of the best action movies of all time. It is an amazing romance movie. It has romance. It has a lot of scenes where I was just staring at the screen with no idea what was about to happen next. I absolutely love this movie start to finish, with it being 3 hours long in a world where most movies nowadays tend to be 3 to 3.5 hours long, which is getting really annoying, by the way. But this feels like it's 2.5 hours. I've seen this movie 3 times, and I will probably watch it many, many more within my lifetime. High praise to the director, and the fact that there is a sequel coming. Wow. I have no idea what's going to happen, and I cannot wait. Make it 6 hours. And my number one pick, especially if anyone knows me, they saw this one coming a mile away. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is my favorite movie of the past decade. It is unlike anything I have ever seen. The Daniels may have this is only their second movie. The only other thing I've seen of theirs is Swiss Army Man, which I really, really enjoy, but it is nothing like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Really, nothing is. It is just a perfectly crafted story, start to finish, that somehow managed to mix some incredible action with a universe ending calamity. And it is all tied directly to this family just learning to love one another again. Ki Hoi Kwan coming back to act in this and delivering what I still think is the best supporting role of the year. Wow, that was really, really cool to see, especially as someone who really enjoys the original Indiana Jones movies. Yeah, this movie is unbelievably good. Michelle Yeoh as the lead actress, of course, I hope that she gets nominated. She is everything that this movie needed and more. Jamie Lee Curtis, all of the supporting actors and actresses, this entire movie, start to finish, is perfect in my opinion. I cannot imagine changing a single scene or frame in this to make it any better. And I do not say that lightly. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't know what the next movie that I'll see that will be better than this, but if anything, to be honest, I love this movie and I cannot wait to see what the Daniels make next. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really hope you enjoy this and stay tuned because soon I'm going to make my top 10 least favorite movies of 2022. So that should be a fun list as well.